Hey everyone, happy Friday. It is almost 5 o'clock here, my time. It is that Friday feeling that I get every Friday where I'm excited for the weekend, but also excited to do this and go through the update. This is the weekly recap for this short week, 4 trading days this week, Tuesday through Friday. Today is the 5th, so the 2nd through the 5th. I will go through the options income for this week, and then I will go through the dividends income. And then the last slide, I'll quickly go through a summary of the deposit, what I purchased, and all of that. So real quick for new viewers, the overall strategy as always, deposit $6,000 per month into the account. There is 4 Fridays this month, so it'll be $1,500 per week. 50% of that is used for options trading and held in the ticker SGOV, as I will go over here in a second. 50% of that is used to purchase high yield dividend stocks and ETFs. I have a new position this week that I will get into. One that just dropped actually yesterday, so it's a brand new to the stock market position, or ETF as well, so not just new to me but new to the stock market. And then right before the first of the month, I withdraw $6,000. I use that to pay my mortgage and my student loans. I withdraw it on margin, so I borrow it on margin and pay interest on it. All of the income generated pays down the margin balance throughout the month, as I will show on the summary slide here in just a second. And then eventually the income generated will outpace the margin borrowed. If you watched my monthly recap from my previous video, you'll see that I was about 79% to my goal of the $6,000 per month in income. It was a very good month, and we'll see how it continues. So jumping in here, the weekly income recap for options first. So I've been trading most of these ticker symbols for a while now. Small minor updates as I'll get into here in a second, but BITX, I have 2 put contracts. I got out of a call contract that I had been holding for a long time last week, and with that I sold a put contract last week that I rolled for a minimal credit, minimal debit and then plus a credit, and then had some extra income being held in SGOV, in part because some of these positions dropped. I was able to sell them at a lower cost, and then also from my deposit, in which I put in this week, allowed me to sell an additional contract on BITX. So I currently have 2 open put contracts and I've received a credit on those in total of $101.68. SBUX, which is Starbucks, I've been trading for quite a while as well. I'm actually underwater on this right now. The strike is about $2 less than, the price is about $2 less than my current strike. I thought about just accepting it. This is a position that I actually wouldn't mind holding 100 shares of really long term. So I thought about just taking it and then holding the shares forever, or for a very long time. But I was able to roll it at my same strike and still receive $59.68 in premium. So I went ahead and did that. If it continues to drop, then I'll eventually accept it if the premium is no longer worth it. Pepsi, I just started this one last week. I was able to roll the contract this week at the same strike that I was at for a net credit of $79.68. Another position that I wouldn't mind holding long term, so I'm comfortable selling that put so close to the strike as it is right now. And then TSLL is the big update this week. I had been holding 700 shares of TSLL for months now, probably since at least May, if I went back and looked. And I just been selling calls on it and dropping my cost basis. I ended up being a couple of grand over the last couple of months just selling call contracts on these 7. I finally was able to get out of it today. It finally stayed above my strike price. It kind of messed with it last week and acted like it was going to stay above, and then the next day it tanked before my contract expired. 7 contracts expired. So I was finally able to get out of it this week. So I immediately went to selling put contracts. So my 7 call contracts will get called away, and then I immediately sold 7 more put contracts at a lower strike, which I was happy about. And because it was at a lower strike, I was able to use that less money needed to buy more shares of BITX, part of what went towards the additional contract of that. So in total, I sold pretty conservatively. I sold like a 14 delta on these TSLL positions because it is very, very volatile. I don't want to get stuck in it again like I did this time for that long, even though it kind of worked out. So I sold a little bit more conservatively at like the 14 delta, and because of that I didn't receive as much premium, but I still got $100.35 in total on those 7 put contracts. And then RGTI, I'm rolling that from last week. I got a little bit more premium this week because I held the strike and then sold the strike closer to what I'm currently holding and received a premium of $29.33. So all in all, $370.72 for this week in options, which is less than last week, but on a shorter week, I'm pretty happy with that. Going over to dividends received this week. ULTY, one of my main weekly payers, $79.74. XDTE, another one of my weekly payers, main weekly payers, $99.51. YMAX, weekly payer, $13.46. I received my monthly JEPI dividend, $30.20. And then I received my monthly SGOV dividend in $120.28. SGOV, as a reminder, is where I house all of my cash that I use for puts. So it's technically cash secured, but technically not, because the money is actually used to purchase this ticker. So I'm technically using margin, but not really, because it's being held in SGOV. It's just how it works out. But because I'm able to hold my cash in SGOV and sell naked puts until they're assigned, I receive dividends in this amount, or in less or more, depending on how much I'm holding at the time. And going back to the options contracts I was able to get out of on TSLL, though I'll now receive that money back because those shares are going to get called away on Monday. As soon as those shares are, or as soon as that money is paid back in my account from the TSLL 700 shares that I was holding, I will immediately use that to purchase more SGOV. So my SGOV shares are going to go up quite a bit because I'm going to put like another roughly $10,000 into SGOV on Monday. So if I don't get assigned on anything this month, then I will get a larger dividend payout from SGOV next month. So all in all, this position is just where my money sits until I am assigned on position. So it's like the equivalent of putting that cash into a high yield savings account, kind of, but this is in my brokerage and ready to deploy if need be, if I get assigned on a position. So in total for this week in dividend income, I received $343.19. Lastly, I go to a quick summary. So the summary for this week, I deposited $1,500. If you recall from my last videos, in August I was depositing $1,200. That's because there was 5 Fridays in the month. So I broke that $6,000 up, divided by 5. There's 4 Fridays in this month, so 6,000 divided by 4 equals 1,500. So I deposited $1,500 today. What did I do with it? I purchased a new position, WPAY. Literally just was introduced or started trading yesterday. And what it is Round Hill's fund, kind of comparable to YMAX. It's a collection of all of their funds in one. And I like it because it's kind of inherently little less risky, right? So, and I like the Round Hill stuff in general. XDTE has been really good for me. I hold QDTE in another one of my accounts, and it's done well for me. I like that it holds its NAV, its net asset value, much better than like the yield max stuff. So I decided to dive into this one. It had just dropped at the time that I'd bought it. I think it dropped like $1 from yesterday. So it was a good time to get in. So I bought 10 shares at a total of $509.56. So I used about a third of that weekly deposit. And then, as I always do, I used about half, a little less than half in this case, to purchase SGOV, which was $703.12, which I just realized here is $1,200. So I believe I used $300 of that on additional options trading. I'll have to update that, but my mistake there. So total income from the previous options slide and the dividend slide was $712.90 for this week. That went to my margin balance. So my margin balance was higher this morning. And then by the end of the trading day, after applying this income that I received to this, my margin balance at this moment is $11,972.82. So I will pay roughly 9.5% interest on that annualized for this month, which will be probably about $100 if it stays at this amount, which it won't because it's going to drop every week, right? All the income that I use or that I receive is used to pay down this balance, and then the weekly deposit is used to purchase more shares of things. So quick rundown on that. Thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. I will have another video coming out here where I'm going to break down my positions right now. I'm going to do that more regularly as well so that you guys can see exactly what I'm holding, my cost basis, if I got into or out of new positions, and all of that, in addition to these and my monthly recap as well. If you guys would like to see something else, just let me know. I'd be happy to dive more into